We all know Cupid. Pretty wings, love bow, naked baby in the clouds. What about Eros? Probably a sexy hunk with blonde hair, abs, and just a smoking hot persona. Turns out both of them are one and the same. Yeah, Cupid is a Roman interpretation of Eros. When was this change decided? Who even is Eros for that matter? And why the hell is he so significant? Let's start at the beginning, which for most Greek myths involved cheating. Like usual, our goddess of love and beauty, Aphrodite, was holding hands with anyone but Hephaestus. Candidates involve Zeus, Ares, or Hermes, regardless of who the dad is, because it will never be consistent. Eros was born. Although in some interpretations, Eros was born out of chaos, we're going to be going off with the Aphrodite version because it's significant to the plot. Aphrodite had bigger problems than playing Jerry Springer, though. Another pretty woman actually breathed on Earth. This woman, Psyche, was so pretty that Aphrodite wasn't getting her daily sacrifices. With all these people being prettier than Aphrodite, you'd think that Aphrodite isn't all that pretty to begin with. But that's just me. Aphrodite had an amazing, totally fixes everything solution, though. She'll make her fall in love with a monster, instead of, just killing her. Rather than doing it herself, though, she gets her precious son Eros to do the job for her, because what could go wrong? Yeah, he ends up stabbing himself and falling in love with Psyche. Meanwhile, Psyche's family is really stressing over the fact that she still hasn't gotten married. Despite her good looks, nobody will fall in love with her. Everyone was rather content to marry anybody other than her. With the utter lack of love interest, the family started praying to Apollo for help. This is kind of just like how my grandparents pray my gay away. Context, Apollo gives the most random advice, just telling the family to leave her on top of a hill. They don't have much options though, because the god told them to do so. And so the genius-filled family was like, let's just leave her. A little while of sitting and waiting, and this pretty princess was floated to the mother effing castle by the wind. Soon the girl starts hearing voices. Glossing over that fact, Cupid comes home in the middle of the night. Psyche felt her husband, but she couldn't see him on the account that it was too dark. He was like, you can't see me, babe, because that'll be bad. And she was chill with that fact until one of her sisters were like, hey, you're cool with sleeping with quite literally, quite possibly, a monster. Psyche started to not be okay with the fact that she might have been sleeping with a monster and decided to light an oil lamp. After Cupid fell asleep, she flicked on the oil lamp and saw this total prince. Man was finer than Apollo. Just look at him. Admiring this man, she accidentally dropped a little oil on him. The couple was obviously betrayed and went to go and scream some Taylor Swift in his room. Psyche suddenly realizes what a terrible mistake she made and decides to go looking for him. She prays to Aphrodite in hopes that she'll bring him back magically. Probably the wrong god to be praying to, but anyways, Aphrodite agrees to bring back Eros as long as she accomplishes these tremendously difficult tasks. Psyche, who is rather insane in love, decides to go through with each one. I could explain how this girl quite literally went to Hades and back for this man, but we're low on time. In short, Aphrodite was not letting up her son. The gods weren't a big fan about broken promises, though, so they ordered Hermes to spill all the tea, including the bull that Psyche was going through just to see Eros. This makes me wonder if all the gods gossiped together on Mount Olympus. Anyways, you know it's bad when Zeus is the one that's giving you moral guidance. Eros realized what a big mistake he made and came back to rescue her, telling his mom to back off. He whisks her away and then gets married to her, living happily ever after as immortals. Why is this myth so important? How is the depiction of Eros so different from the Roman interpretation? The myth of Eros and Psyche has themes of love and perseverance. We see Psyche go to great lengths just in the name of love. It is one of the first myths that depicts a woman as a hero instead of a villain or a damsel in distress. Guess we could call this somewhat of a feminist piece at the time. So now, back to our beginning point. Who is Cupid, Amor, Eros, or a man that goes by many names? Well, earliest interpretations of him depict him as a slender adult man. Only centuries later, Renaissance artists like Caravaggio show a younger version of Cupid, sometimes referred to as cherubs, although that might not be entirely correct as that takes from the Bible. While he only has one major Greek myth, the man is seen through all the Greek mythology, sometimes being referred to stronger than Zeus. I'd say the myth of Eros and Psyche is a beautiful romantic tale that can be related to through hundreds of years.